Alright guys, what's up? Today I'm going to show you how to play on your PlayStation 5 at 120 frames per second or 120 hertz. Alright, now the first thing I'm going to get straight to the point right here, is you're going to need a good gaming monitor, okay? Most average televisions, even 4K televisions, they're just not capable and they're not made for doing a very high hertz or frames per second. Hertz and frames per second are two different things. Hertz is what your monitor is capable of putting out, and frames per second is what your games are able to do. So they are two different things. I want to get that disclaimer out there before anyone blows me up in the comments. The PS5 is only able to output 120 frames per second, okay? So you're gonna need a good gaming monitor, okay? Most average televisions, any television from Walmart, normal television, you're just not gonna be able to do 120 hertz on those televisions. This is the Samsung Odyssey G5, and this is a gaming PC monitor. So this is made for PC. You're gonna want to make sure whatever research you're doing for whatever monitor you're planning on getting, do the research and make sure that the gaming monitor that you are getting is capable of doing 120 hertz through the HDMI port. Okay, that's very important because we only have the HDMI port on the PS5. All right, now there are some settings we got to go through before we jump on Siege. So go to your settings, then go to screen and video. Inside video output, go all the way to the bottom and make sure that 120 hertz output is enabled. You have to make sure that 120 hertz output is enabled. Now, this should already be set to automatic by default, but maybe a long time ago, someone turned it off, okay? And they forgot, okay? So this is just a reminder to you guys to make sure that this is set to automatic. Now, the second setting we're going to want to look at is inside of saved data and game app settings. Go to game presets, and inside of game preset, make sure that performance mode and resolution mode is set to performance. When it's set to performance, the game is going to prioritize a higher FPS. All right. Now that we are done with the settings inside the PS5, we're going to go ahead and jump onto Siege. Inside Siege, we're going to go to the settings. We're going to hit options. We're going to go to video and make sure that graphic mode is turned on to prioritize performance. If you turn on prioritize performance, it'll run the game at 120 frames. It will lower the resolution a little bit to 1080p, but the game looks phenomenal still. Now, this current monitor I have is a 2K resolution monitor, and I love this monitor. It's a good monitor. It's 27 inches. It's good for my desk right here that I sit at. Sometimes I play on PC with a mouse and keyboard. You could play on the PS5. You could play Call of Duty Black Ops or Warzone with the mouse and keyboard. Siege doesn't support that on the PS5, but that's just a little bit of extra information for you guys in case you're interested in playing with a mouse and keyboard. Other games will support 120 frames with a mouse and keyboard. That's pretty cool. All right. Now, my settings are set to be at performance. So just a disclaimer, the menu is always gonna say 60 frames per second. I know it says 59, but trust me, it's 60. So at the main menu, it's always gonna say 60 frames per second. All right, I'm gonna show you guys what the game looks like when I set my monitor to 60 frames. All right, my monitor is set to 120 frames. All right, I am going to purposely put my monitor at 60 frames, and I'm going to show you guys using the slow motion camera on my phone what it looks like when you try to play improperly at 120 frames per second, but at, you know, a 60 frames or a 60 hertz monitor. All right, so now I am showing you what it looks like if you are doing this incorrectly. If you don't have a monitor that has 120 frames or 120 hertz and you try to do 120 frames, your PS5 is going to be giving more information to your monitor than the monitor can handle. I mean, look at the tree right there. It's getting cut in half. It's spliced up and chopped up like sushi. It's really bad. I mean, look at the tree. Do you want to play like that? It doesn't look good. So yeah, technically you're still playing at 60 frames per second, but the PlayStation 5 is trying to give you 120 frames, and that's why it's all choppy like this. So this is what happens when you try to do performance mode 120 frames on a monitor that has 60 hertz. All right, so now I went ahead and changed my settings. My monitor is now doing 120 hertz, and on the slow motion camera that I'm recording with, you can see that everything is much smoother. Nothing is cut in half. You know, it's still blurry. That's because I don't have the best slow motion camera, but nothing is like chopped in half like before. Okay, it's much better now. It's much smoother for sure. The trees are in one piece instead of being chopped in half. And I took a good screenshot. I'm going to show you what that tree right there looked like at 60 frames. It looked horrible. All right, so right here we got a still image of the 60 hertz and 120 frames per second. So yeah, the hertz is not matching the frames per second that the PS5 is putting out. So you're just getting all this extra information, and you get some very visible screen tearing. That slicing in half of the tree right there, that's screen tearing. Yeah, that tree, there's like two trees. There's like a ghosting of the tree going on right there. Even the car has two right side headlights. It's pretty bad. So here's a still image of the slow motion camera from my iPhone, and we can see that there's one tree. There's a bit of ghosting going on, and you know the car is definitely ghosting, but I think this is just also my phone's slow motion camera. You know, I'm working with what I got, guys, okay? But we can clearly see that there's no screen tearing. The tree is not cut in half. Nothing gets cut in half. So we get much less of a glitchy image. So this is what happens right here when you try to play the game improperly, and this is what happens properly. All right, guys, I really hope my video helped you guys in any sort of way. If you guys made it to the end of the video, hit the thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel. I mean, look at my hair. I'm fucking cool as shit. I got blue hair. I'm out of here, man. Peace.